All right. We're back streaming on YouTube. The board commission is now reconvened in open session at 11:05 a.m. We're going to take up the agenda item that was discussed in closed session. I'll ask if there are any motions in that regard and in regard to Roman numeral 10, the denial of process server application, or discussion, question.
I had a question for Mr. Gibson, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
When there's deferred adjudication, are we to consider that as a conviction, or how are we directed to handle that, if at all?
Under the criminal history guidelines, the policy, it's not really treated as a conviction, but it says if an applicant completed a deferred adjudication, which is dismissed for a crime which is dismissed after the applicant successfully completed the term, the applicant is not considered to have been convicted for purposes of these guidelines. However, the commission may consider deferred adjudication to be a conviction if the applicant had not completed the term of court supervision, the applicant completed the term less than 5 years before applying, and then there's some other, if they're charged with really serious crimes that aren't really relevant here. Well, if the applicant was charged with an offense that would violate the laws and rules enforced by the commission, I don't think that's covered here. There is one here. Certification would enable the applicant to repeat the criminal offense, or the applicant may pose a continuing threat to public safety. So you may consider charges that are dismissed on deferred, but you don't really consider them a conviction.
Well, you did mention 5 years. I wasn't clear on that. If the deferment period ended within the last 5 years, are we to consider that as a conviction?
You may do so, yes, sir. Under the policy that the commission has.
And then there's a mention in the documents of the criminal conviction guidelines, and how do the criminal conviction guidelines play into the charges here?
I think I don't have them open before me, but I think generally the criminal conviction guidelines look at things like the age of the applicant at the time of the crime, the seriousness of the crime, and the extent to which the criminal conduct relates to the licensed activity. If the licensed activity would open up the opportunity for a person to engage in the same or similar type of criminal conduct. If a person were convicted of embezzlement and we were considering making him a guardian, that raises obvious connectivity issues.
But with our charges here, do you find that it would open up the opportunity with these charges if he were to be certified, or what's the guidance on that, if any?
That's probably our call, not Scott's.
All right.
More or less, that's what I was going to say. Thank you.
In the guidelines, there are enumerated offenses that are considered to relate to the duties and responsibilities. And one includes crimes involving deliberate violence or breach of peace.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have a motion to either affirm or reverse the director's decision to deny certification? In the absence of a motion, then the application will remain denied. So does anyone wish to make a motion either way?
Move to affirm the recommendation of denial.
Do we have a second in that regard? All right, no second. Motion deny. The motion affirming the denial dies for lack of second. Any other motions? So in the absence of a motion, the application remains denied under our rules. So good luck, Mr. Mathis. And we are in recess on your matter. You are free to go. Thank you, sir. Moving on to Roman numeral 11, administrative matters relating to the commission. Item A.
Yes, Judge Harlan, commission members, Jeff Renard. I just wanted to give you an update on the commission rules. So the Supreme Court will have an administrative conference on the 7th and coming up in a few days, and hopefully they're going to approve our rules. In your materials, you have the letter that Scott wrote on behalf of Megan to the Supreme Court. And then you also have the rules that have gone through the process. So they went to the advisory board, they went to the commission, and went out for public comment. And now they're with the court. Hopefully they'll be adopted immediately on the 7th. And that concludes my update, and they are in your materials. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
All right, no questions on that. Thank you. We can move on to B.
A similar update, the Uniform Format Manual, we approved that a while back, went out for public comment. It's been with the court for a while. I've been assured that it's on their list, and it's something that they'll get to. I don't know if they'll get to it on the 7th, but I think they're working on it and working towards adopting that as well. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
All right, item C, there's no questions.
Yes, Judge and Commission members. So the new court reporter advisory board members, we have Kelly Hanna and Karen Usher. They're both freelance reporters, very experienced members of their associations. They've actually they're on the board now, and I think I sent the order out, or it's posted, and we've done training with them last week. So they understand everything about the commission and their role on the advisory board. I think they're going to be great members. So the court reporter advisory board now is at 9 members. And so they'll be at the next meetings and on their complaint review committees and all that. So we welcome them to the commission.
So that'll be their first actual meeting.
Their first actual meeting, I think, will be, I'm not sure when we have one set yet, Judge.
All right.
January.
Great, thank you. So guardianship update.
We continue to do our guardianship registration. So to date, since 2019, we received 55,000 of them into our system. Not all of them are actually going to be appointed, of course. So we have some extra ones in our system where they never get appointed. We've done 35,000 35,000 guardianship trainings, and that's in English and Spanish. So, and it's open to the public, so anyone could take that, attorneys, anybody who wants to take that, but we've done 35,000 of them. So it's a lot since 2019. And Brian was on them, and he's still here in the meeting. He's processed 26,000 plus criminal history background checks for the counties. And as you know, we're doing only the name and date of birth search for state values under 50,000 now. So the bigger ones will go out to the clerk, but we appreciate Brian and all the work he's done getting those for the counties. For the guardianship program, we continue to work on our guardianship program and our audits. For fiscal year 2023, we did 11,000 cases were reviewed, and 5,900 were recommended for closure, 5,400 were active guardianships. And the percentages, they fluctuate by county. So some of the counties are bad and some of the counties are much better. But overall, we had 24% were missing annual reports, 48% were missing annual accountings. We're trying to get that number down. You can't miss annual accountings when, you know, that's the only way to know what's going on for the court. So we're trying to get that number down. 42% were missing inventories, which is shocking to me because the inventory has to be done within 30 days. And that establishes a baseline for the judge to maintain compliance. So the 42% of those are missing, and we're going to work hard to get that number down. 32% were out of compliance total, and we found 1,290 deceased wards. So we're still working to do that. We're almost done with the whole state. We've, as a project and a program, we have done the whole state, but as a program, we have 7 more counties to do. So we're working, and then those are the baseline audits, and we're continuing to we'll continue to do it and continue to try to bring these into compliance. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Bernard?
Jeff, could you send that same information out in written form for us?
Yes, I have the report right here. I'll send it to you today.
And would you care to comment on which counties are having issues more than one might expect, or is that something that you would not get into?
It just depends on the county. The bigger counties, the statutory probate courts are usually much better. Their compliance numbers are much better. They have the staff. This is the same story that we started with. They have the staff and the smaller counties don't. So I would say that it's the rural counties, mid-sized counties that have more issues than the statutory probate courts. It's continues to be the same. And some are better than others. Some are really, really good, and some are not so good. And we're going to redo them. So they'll have follow-up audits coming in this fiscal year. Hopefully they'll start that, and we'll be able to have a baseline and compare those financial numbers from the previous audits.
And also, Mr. Keenan might comment on this. As I understood it, when the change in criminal background checks was going to happen, which I think was the 1st of September,
Yes.
That the counties needed to get right on top of that to be able to do those background checks. Are we aware that many or most have done that? Do some of the counties even know they need to do that?
I can answer the question for Brian. This started immediately, Judge, not September 1st. We thought it was going to be September 1st, but it was upon governor signing. So it was like in June or July. We sent out notice. We work with DPS, and we are trying to get all these counties ORI numbers. A lot of them didn't have them from the previous, and I know Brian's been working hard to work with them to make that happen. So I don't know where we stand right this second, Brian. If you want to talk about that, are you still getting a lot of inquiries? But we have sent out a lot of notices from our staff and from DPS to get them the ability to do this.
Yes, it's my understanding that at this point, every county should actually have everything needed to set up an ORI number. DPS about a month and a half ago sent us an Excel sheet showing at least 100 counties have submitted the paperwork needed to be given an ORI number by the FBI. Where we stand now, I am looking at least 20 counties actually have an ORI set up and are able to send applicants to Identigo to be fingerprinted. I about 2 weeks ago sent a request for an update to DPS, and DPS is still currently working on it, and reminded me that it will take at least 150 days to have an ORI established for each county. So by mid-November, I'm going to reach out again and request either an update or a meeting to find out where we are, because I'd like more information on if counties had an old ORI number, can they have them reestablished? Where are we at getting new ORI numbers, and is there a way to request the larger counties to be kind of put to the front of the list of being given an ORI number?
And if someone's in one county, but a neighboring county is larger and they have that, I guess they have to do it in their county where they file. Is that correct?
It's my understanding that in a weird sense, it's an accounting issue. It's so DPS can keep track of like why the background check was performed. So yes, if you are in say Harris County, it needs to be done under a Harris County ORI.
And do you all have a sense of how are you still being contacted to do these criminal background checks for people that don't fall within the current parameters? Do you have a sense of how the practitioners have reacted to this? That's kind of a dumb question, really.
No, not at all, ma'am. In fact, yeah, we do get that quite a lot. Obviously, the larger counties are more focused on getting their RI set up, and they're kind of more familiar with the process. It is the smaller counties who seem to have a I'm sorry, what's going on now again? And then we just walk them through it and explain, show them the paperwork that needs to be sent to DPS, show them we currently have kind of a workaround where the applicant can go directly to the FBI and have this done, with the understanding that they will, though, need to be re-fingerprinted under the county's ORI number once it's established, because it's more than just getting the background check done. It's also them being put into the wrap back system so that they can be monitored during the duration of their guardianship.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions? Thank you very much, Brian. Okay, we have our next meeting scheduled for February the 2nd, 2024 at 10 a.m. My guess is that will probably be in person, absent conflicts with the room that we're utilizing. I think that was part of the reason we went on Zoom today, is we didn't have access to that conference room. Is that right, Jeff?
That's correct, Judge. Judicial Council was today, so we'll make it happen next time.
Okay. And we have any public comment signed up, Melinda? Thais?
No, sir, we don't.
Well, as far as closing remarks, I have to tell you, I'm very impressed, and it's an honor to serve with all of you. You're all volunteers. I know these meetings come at inconvenient times, and a lot of materials have to be reviewed, and you do it conscientiously and contribute in every meeting. So I really appreciate you making my job a lot easier, and staff continues to astound me on all their hard work and getting ready for these meetings and what they do on a day-to-day basis. So thank you very much. I guess happy holidays if we don't see each other between now and then. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all very much for being here. Take care.
Have a good
Take care
weekend,
too.
everyone.
Thanks.
See y'all. Bye.
Thank you.